TESS found 10,000 new planets, and it changes everything. For pretty much all of human history, we've stared into the night sky and asked the big question, are we alone? It's a question that has fueled our myths, our science, and our deepest sense of wonder. Just a few decades ago, the number of known planets outside our solar system was a big, fat zero. Then we started finding a few, then a few thousand. But now, NASA's TESS mission has handed astronomers a catalog of over 10,000 potential new worlds. Let's be clear, this isn't a list of 10,000 confirmed planets. Not yet, anyway. It's a list of candidates. But that distinction is exactly what makes this story so exciting. This isn't just about finding more planets. It's about a radical new strategy in the search for life. It's the story of how we're finally building a treasure map to the most promising real estate in our cosmic neighborhood. To really get why the TESS discoveries are such a huge deal, we need to rewind to its legendary predecessor, the Kepler Space Telescope. Launched back in 2009, Kepler was a game changer. For years, it did one thing. It stared, without blinking, at a single tiny patch of the sky. Its goal was simple but profound, to figure out just how common planets really are. And Kepler's answer was a cosmic mic drop. It found thousands of exoplanets, proving that our galaxy is practically overflowing with them. It showed us that planets aren't some cosmic fluke. They're a normal, everyday part of how stars are born. It was a genuine revolution. But there was a catch. The patch of sky Kepler stared at was very, very far away. Think of it like this. Kepler proved the cosmic ocean is full of fish. It gave us a planetary census, confirming that for basically every star you see, there's at least one planet. But most of the fish it found were way out in the deep water, too far away to study. We could see their shadows as they swam by, but we couldn't tell if they had scales, what color they were, or if they were anything like the fish we know. Many of Kepler's most exciting discoveries, especially the Earth-sized ones, orbited stars that were just too faint and distant for our best telescopes to get a good look at. We had a phone book full of new worlds, but no way to actually call them up and see who answered. And that is the problem TESS was built to solve. Launched in 2018, the Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite, TESS for short, came in with a completely different playbook. Instead of staring deep, it was designed to scan wide. TESS's 4 powerful cameras sweep across nearly the entire sky, sector by sector, like a celestial lighthouse. It's a mission focused not on distant galaxies, but on our own cosmic backyard, monitoring hundreds of thousands of the brightest, closest stars. TESS uses the same brilliant technique as Kepler, called the transit method. It watches a star for a tiny, repeating dip in its brightness, the telltale sign that a planet might be crossing in front of it. The size of that dip hints at the size of the planet, and how often it happens tells us how long its year is. But here's the crucial difference. TESS was designed to find planets around stars that are significantly brighter and closer than the ones Kepler studied. These are our neighbors, and because they're so bright, they're the ones whose light we can actually capture and analyze. While Kepler is just giving us the specific targets. It's not just about the quantity of planets anymore, it's about the quality of the targets for the next giant leap in our search for life. This brings us to the headline-making discovery. In a massive new survey of TESS data, scientists have identified over 10,000 new planet candidates. To be precise, these are TESS Objects of Interest, or TOIs, which need to be confirmed by other telescopes. But the sheer volume is mind-boggling. To put it in perspective, as of mid-2026, TESS has led to the confirmation of well over 1,000 planets, but the project's candidate list is now over 8,000 and growing. If you just focus on the number, though, you miss the entire point. The real story isn't the number itself, it's what that number represents. It's a treasure map. For the very first time, we have an extensive chart of the most interesting planets right here in our cosmic neighborhood. These aren't faint, distant blips. These are worlds orbiting bright stars, worlds whose atmospheres we might actually be able to taste. This list of candidates is what the next generation of astronomy will be built on. It marks a fundamental shift in exoplanet science. We're moving from the era of pure discovery into the era of characterization. We're no longer just finding dots on a map. We're finally getting ready to color them in. We are literally witnessing a new chapter in how we explore the cosmos. The doors that TESS is opening are just the beginning. So, what does characterization really mean? It means going beyond just knowing a planet exists. It means figuring out what it's made of. TESS, for all its amazing abilities, can't do this alone. TESS is the planet finder. Its job is to point and say, hey, look over there. Something interesting is happening. To find out more, TESS needs a partner, and that partner is the most powerful space telescope ever built, the James Webb Space Telescope. This is the dream team that changes everything. TESS finds the promising nearby targets, and JWST performs the deep dive analysis. Because TESS planets orbit bright stars, JWST can use its incredible mirrors and spectrographs to do something amazing. When a planet transits, JWST can catch the starlight that filters through its atmosphere. By splitting that light into a spectrum, think of it like a chemical rainbow. Scientists can hunt for the molecular fingerprints of different gases. For the first time, we can start asking the really big questions. Does this rocky, Earth-sized world even have an atmosphere? If it does, what's in it? Is there water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane? These are the building blocks of habitability. This is how we go from asking, is there a planet there? To, could life as we know it survive on that planet? JWST is the perfect tool for the job, but without TESS, it would have a much harder time knowing where to point its precious mirror. All of this leads to the ultimate prize, finding a truly habitable world, and TESS is proving to be a master at finding planets in just the right spot, the habitable zone, that orbital sweet spot where conditions could be just right for liquid water to exist on a planet's surface. One of the most exciting examples is a system about 100 light-years away called TOI 700. The star is a small, cool red dwarf, and it's home to a fantastic planetary family. In 2020, using TESS data, scientists announced the discovery of TOI 700d, an Earth-sized planet orbiting right in its star's habitable zone. But then, as they looked closer at more TESS data, they found another one, TOI 700e, a world about 95% the size of Earth, also in that habitable zone. This makes the TOI 700 system one of only a handful we know of that has two small, potentially rocky worlds in its habitable zone. These planets are prime targets for JWST. They orbit a red dwarf, which is the most common type of star in our galaxy, and TESS is especially good at finding planets around them. Because these stars are smaller and dimmer than our Sun, an Earth-sized planet blocks out a much bigger, more obvious chunk of light, making it easier to spot. Of course, a planet in the habitable zone isn't automatically habitable. Red dwarfs can be volatile, shooting out powerful flares that might strip an atmosphere away. Many of these worlds are also probably tidally locked, with one side in perpetual daylight and the other in endless night. But TESS is giving us the exact targets we need to start testing these ideas. Systems like TOI 700 aren't just one-off